Good day, everyone. Following our previous discussion on large scale energy systems like hydroelectric and solar, today we are shifting our focus to a resource that is deeply rooted in our own landscape biomass energy. In this session, we are going to explore how organic waste, the very leftover of our agriculture industry, can be transformed from a simple residue into an active, synchronized power source. As we move through this presentation, my colleagues Michael John Estrella, Paulo Villacorta, Rodrigo Carion, Xander Denzel Villamayor, and I, Zedric, will take you through the technical logic that makes this possible. We aren't just talking about burning waste. We are talking about a sophisticated engineering strategy that integrates thermal conversion, fluid mechanics, and electrical and electromagnetic induction. From an engineering student perspective, biomass is truly marvelous because it provides something called base load reliability. Unlike other renewables that are intermittent, biomass works 24/7, providing a stable, non-fluctuating supply to the grid. It is a masterpiece of energy transformation, taking raw chemical energy, converting it to high pressure superheated steam, and using that fluid force to drive massive turbines. It proves that we can achieve high efficiency power without relying on fossil fuel. This is especially vital here in the Philippines. As an agricultural con- as an agricultural nation, we are sitting on a massive untapped gold mine of feedstock, from the rice husk of Isabela to the sugarcane bagasse of Negros. By prioritizing biomass, we support our local farmers, solve waste management issue, and strengthen our national energy independence. In an era where the world demands a circular economy, biomass stands out as a carbon neutral solution. It turns today's agricultural harvest into the electricity that powers our cities, making it a cornerstone of sustainable engineering for our country's future. So, what is biomass energy? Think for a moment about the electricity running through this place. Most of us assume that power has to come from something we dig out of the ground, something ancient, something finite and dirty. But what if I told you that the most reliable energy sources from our future isn't hidden in the mind, but is right in front of us within the biological world? Welcome to the world of biomass energy. Now, to be clear, bioenergy is more than just a burning waste. From an engineering standpoint, it is a sophisticated energy recovery system. While biomass refers to the physical matter, the wood, the crops, or the residue, biomass energy is a functional, high output result. It is the intense heat, the high pressure steam, and the electrical current produced when that matter is technically processed. It is art. It is the art of taking solar energy that has been biologically stored in a chemical bonds and unlocking it to do mechanical work. Furthermore, the real marvel of biomass energy lies in its dispatchability. In our field, we often deal with the intermittency of renewables. The fact that wind stops and the sun sets, biomass energy is a baseload champion. It provides a constant 24/7 synchronized flow of energy that can scale it. We can scale it, we can store it, and we can deploy it exactly when the grid needs it the most. It is the engineering bridge to a self-sufficient Philippines. But how do we move from a pile of agricultural waste to a synchronized electrical current? How do we actually unlock those chemical bonds to a power city? To understand that, we have to look under the hood of biomass power plant. It isn't just one step. It's a beautifully orchestrated chain of energy transformations, moving from chemical energy to thermal, then mechanical. and finally, to electrical. Let's break down the working principle that turns raw organic matter into electricity we use every day. Biomass energy working principle. What if I told you that we could take leftovers of the world, the wood scraps, the rice husks, and even the garbages we throw away, and unlock a hidden reservoir of solar energy? You see, biomass isn't just a waste. It is nature's battery. Every plant and organic material has spent its life absorbing energy from the sun. And today, we're going to look at the engineering marvel that cracks the battery, open to the power grid. This is the working principle of biomass energy. It all starts with the harvest of Earth's discarded treasures. We gather agricultural residue, food waste, or municipal garbage renewables that would otherwise sit silent in landfill. Instead, we bring them into a high temperature furnace for direct combustion. We aren't just burning them, we are liberating the solar energy stored within their fibers. This creates a powerful, intense heat, the heartbeat of the entire system, where the chemical bonds of nature are finally set free. But fire alone isn't enough. That energy needs a mission. We pass that heat to the boiler system where it meets pressurized water. Imagine the energy shifting from the raw heat becomes a roaring, continuous stream of high pressure, superheated steam. In this moment, we've successfully transformed fire into a pressurized messenger, concentrated force of nature that is now ready and eager to do the heavy lifting for us. This steam is channeled with the precision into the heart of the turbine as the vapor slams into the turbine blades. This forces them into a high-speed dance. This is where the magic happens. The heat of the fire is now whirlwind of motion. We've turned thermal energy into mechanical kinetic energy. The faster those blades spins, the more potential we have to breathe life into an entire city. Finally, the spinning motion drives a generator where magnet sweeps past wire coils in a silent, rapid rhythm. This entirely thing triggers electromagnetic induction, the actual birth of electricity. Once stabilized by transformers, this power is pushed out onto the grid. In one elegant closed loop, we've taken what the world discarded and transformed it into the very spark that powers our modern lives. That is the true, transformative power of biomass. But a system like this is only as vibrant as the fuel you need to feed it. Just as different woods create a different glow in a campfire, different types of biomass offer their own unique energy signatures. To truly master this technology, we have to look closer at the menu, the organic matter available to us. So let's move from the process to the sources and explore the various types of biomass and diverse sources that keep this fire burning.
Good day everyone. My name is Michael John B. Estrella from BSEE 3B. So, think about the energy powering our world today. Most of it comes from Asian sunlight trapped in fossil fuels. But what if we could use the sunlight trapped in living things right now? So, in this video, we talk about biomass energy. Biomass is simply any organic matter derived from plants and animal that store chemical energy from the sun, unlike coal or oil, which take millions of years to form. So, biomass is renewable and constantly replenished. Let's look at the three main types of biomass and where they come from. So, Number one is solid biomass. Uh, this is the most traditional form of bioenergy used primarily for direct heating and electricity generation. It comes from three main sources. So, ang una, wood waste. These include traditional firewood but also sawdust, wood chips, and pellets left over from lumber mills and paper production. Next is crop residue. Uh, these are the agricultural leftover after a harvest, such as corn cobs, wet straw, and rice husks. Instead of letting them rot, we burn them for power. Last one is energy crops. These are fast-growing plants cultivated especially for fuel. Ang mga example nito ay switchgrass, bamboo, and miscanthus, which require very little water or fertilizer to grow. So, ang next naman ay liquid biofuels. So, ang liquid biofuels ay ito ay mas cleaner replacement for gasoline and diesel. So, they are divided into two main categories. So, based on their sources. Now, ang una ay ang ethanol. This is an alcohol fuel made by fermenting sugar and starches. Its primarily sources are food crops with high sugar or starch content. So, like corn, sugarcane, wheat, and barley. So, next naman ay biodiesel. So, this fuel power diesel engines and is made by blending alcohol with natural oils. So, it is sources with oil scrap like soybean, sunflower, or animal plants. Even recycle cooking oil from restaurant. So, ang last type naman ay biogas and waste. This category turns out daily trash and refuse into clean energy through decomposition and specialized burning. So, ang una, landfill and sewage gas. So, when bacteria break down organic waste in environments without oxygen, they produce methane. So, we capture this gas from decomposing food scrap in landfills, human sewage, and livestock manure to generate electricity. So, municipal solid waste. So, this is our everyday household garbage. So, yung mga katulad ng paper, cardboard, and cotton fabric are born in high-tech waste-to-energy plants to power local grids. So, biomass proves that energy doesn't come from the ground. It grows all around us. So, biomass conversion. So, this infographic illustrates three separate scientific pathways used to transform organic waste into clean energy. So, instead of utilizing single method, the technology matches specific types of waste to specialized conversion processes. So, ang number one, thermochemical conversion. So, this thermal process strictly requires dry organic matter such as forestry wood, wood waste, and agricultural crop residue. So, the system relies on intense, highly elevated temperature to break down the rigid structure of biomass. The material is processed using three high heat techniques known as combustion, gasification, and pyrolysis. So, this extreme heat successfully generate three distinct energy products, which are direct heat, gaseous syngas, and liquid bio-oil. So, ang next naman, biochemical conversion. This biochemical route treats high moisture organic feedstocks including municipal wet waste, livestock manure, and sugar crops. The pathways operate under milder low temperature environmental condition than the thermochemical route. So, living microorganism and specialized natural enzymes break down the organic material through anaerobic digestion and fermentation. This natural decomposition yields two efficient energy sources, which are methane, rich biogas, and liquid bioethanol. So, ang last one, chemical conversion. This chemical method isolate and treats organic fats, especially raw vegetable oil, and recycle commercial cooking grease. So, the system introduces liquid chemical reagents and specialized catalysts to break apart and rearrange heavy fat molecules. The primarily chemical reaction utilized to alter the molecular structure of the oil is called transesterification. So, this precise chemical modification outputs a premium, low-emission fuel known as high-grade biodiesel.
So, good day everyone. I am Mr. Paulo Villacorta from BSE 3B and I will going to report the biomass power plant. Ano nga ba ang biomass power plant? A biomass power plant is a facility that converts organic materials such as wood, chips, agricultural waste, rice, ash, sugarcane, bagasse, and animal waste into electrical energy. Biomass is burned or processed to reduce heat, which generates steam to rotate a turbine connected to a generator. A biomass power plant, main parts and components of biomass power plant. Biomass fuel storage area is the first one. This is where the biomass materials are collected and stored before use. Example of biomass fuel are wood chips, rice husk, corn stalk, coconut shells, and bagasse. Number 2 is the fuel handling system. This system transports biomass fuels from storage to the boiler. Components include conveyors, feeders, crusher or shredders, and the function of it is to ensure continuous fuel supply, reduces fuel size for efficient burning. Number 3 is the boiler or combustion chamber. The boiler burns the biomass fuel to produce heat energy and converts water into high pressure steam. And its type is a fixed bed boiler and fluidized bed boiler. Makikita niyo itsura niyan sa picture. The number 4 is steam turbine. The higher the pressure, steam from the boiler that hits the turbine blades converts steam energy into mechanical energy. The number 5 na hindi mawawala is the generator. The generator is connected to the turbine shaft. Converts mechanical energy into electrical energy. So, the condenser. After passing through the turbine, steam is cooled and converted back into water. Ang function nito is to recycle water for use in the boiler. Number 7 is cooling tower. Removes excess heat from the condenser water, maintains a proper freezing temperature. Number 8 is feed water pump. A pumps condensed water back into the boiler at high pressure, maintains a continuous steam cycles. Air pollution control system. Number 9. A control harmful emission from combustion components include electrostatic precipitator, cyclone separator, baghouse filter, scrubber, and its function is to reduce cess smoke, dust, and pollutants. The last one I think is the ash hiding system. It collects ash produced after biomass combustion. Each type of ash is bottom ash, fly ash, and its function is to proper disposal of rice recycling of ash. And that's all. Thank you, everyone.
Good day everyone. Today we discuss about the biomass energy and we emphasize the comparing two major technological pathways for the advantage and disadvantage of biomass energy. The first one is the combustion and gasification. Let us start by looking at combustion, which is arguably the most traditional approach we have. The main advantage of biomass combustion lies in its status as a mature technology because we have been using it for so long. It boasts relatively low running costs and features of remarkable simple biomass pretreatment process. You don't need highly complex setups just to get the fuel ready for burning. However, every technology has its trades-off. The clear disadvantage of combustion are that it suffers from low efficiency at a small scale. It generally requires a single uniform type of biomass and fuel to run optimally, and setting up these facilities demands a large initial investment. Because of these specific traits, the primary application for combustion is strictly large-scale power generation, where the massive size can help offset those small-scale inefficiencies. And now, let us shift our focus to the right side of our comparison, and it's the gasification. And this is a highly promising alternative that handles energy conversion quite differently. The standout advantage of gasification is its remarkable highly efficiency at a small scale, making it much more versatile for localized energy and needs. Furthermore, it offers excellent flexibility in capacity and features of low initial investment and compared to massive combustion plants. But as you might expect, this flexibility comes a price. And the main disadvantage of gasification is maintenance and cost. And it takes a lot of sophisticated engineering to keep this system running smoothly. And when we look at its practical applications, gasification is perfectly suited for medium and small system, and it is also uniquely capable of powering combined cycles, which is intelligently combine gas turbine and steam turbines together to maximize total electricity production. And to the everything, choosing between combustion and gasification ultimately depends on the specific goals and scale of your energy project. If you are looking to build a massive centralized power plant and want to rely on tried and true mature technology with a low day-to-day running cost, flexible, highly efficiency system of smaller or medium scale, and if you need and you have a technical capacity to manage complex equipment, gasification offers a incredibly smart high-tech solution. Both of these methods play a vital complementary role in advancing our renewable biomass energy infrastructure for the future. And thank you. Moving forward with our discussion about the biomass energy and the advantage and disadvantage of biomass energy. The first one is the advantage of biomass. On the positive side, biomass stands out because it is a perennial source of renewable energy because it is organic grown and harvested. and ensuring a continuous supply. Furthermore, the production process yields a fantastic double benefit. It doesn't just give us clean fuel, but it also produces a high-quality organic manures. When applied to agricultural farms, these bioproducts enrich the soil and lead bumper crops, boosting food security. Additional, the methane gas harvested from biomass is incredibly versatile. It can be utilized directly as a clean but domestic fuel for household gas tube, and powerful enough to run specialized engines to generate electricity. And for the second one is the disadvantage and challenges. However, we must also be but realistic but about the downside and technical challenges. One of the primary physical drawback is the raw biomass natural contain 50 to 90% water weight. This high moisture contents make incredibly heavy and bulky, meaning that if you don't need transport it over long distance, and the logistic becomes very difficult and expensive. Furthermore, if you have resort to direct combustion, simply burning the raw biomass, it produces a significant amount of smoke and unpleasant smells, which can impact local and can impact the local air quality. We also have a consider efficiency and the calorific value of biomass. When burned into a raw and unprocessed form and is remarkable low compared to traditional fuels. Managing a biogas plant is not a passive task either. For the economic advantage, the first one is the job creation and rural development. This biomass energy acts a major driver. Unlike traditional fossil fuels that rely on centralized power grids and foreign imports, biomass is relief heavily on local supply chain. This means it creates steady employment opportunities right in rural areas where jobs are often needed most, ranging from biomass harvesting and transportation to plant operations. Consequently, this fuels localized economic growth. Furthermore, it introduces energy cost stability by utilizing local waste instead of fluctuating global commodities and communities are shielded from unpredictable spikes in energy prices. And for the second one is waste management and community revenue. This waste management is another profound economic advantages lies in waste management solution. One of the greatest operation expenses for these cities and agricultural sectors is the cost involved with a waste disposal, and biomass plants completed flip to dump organic waste into landfills. We can now use that very same waste to generate money for the community. It effectively transforms a financial liability into a highly profitable asset. And the third one is cost efficiency and energy security. This the financial advantages become even clearer. Power generated from biomass gasifier-based plants is remarkably cheap, and particularly in rural zones where the raw materials is abundant and readily available because the fuel is because this a fuel like the particular in rural zones, and this fuel source is essentially through or low cost waste, and the overall is a installation daily running. Beyond the low operation cost, this system strength our overreaching energy security. And for the conclusion in this all, biomass energy is a cornerstone for innovation and technological advancement. It proves that environmental suitable and economic prosperity can go hand in hand by lowering waste management and overheads, providing affordable electricity, and creating vital job opportunities biomass provides a resilient economic foundation for the future. It is a win-to-win framework that protects both our planet and our wallets. Thank you for your time, and let's continue to protect our biomass energy.
So, dito sa part na ito, pag-usapan natin ang ilan sa mga pinakamalalaking biomass power plant sa iba't ibang bansa. Kasama na rin ang kung kailan sila nagsimula at gaano kalaki ang capacity nila. Una is yung Drax Power Station sa North Yorkshire, England. Originally, nagsimula itong mag-operate noong 1974 bilang coal-fired power plant. Pero kalaunan, nag-shift sila sa biomass energy. Sa ngayon, kaya nitong mag-produce ng around 4 gigawatts of electricity at 2.6 gigawatts dito ay mula sa biomass fuel tulad ng sustainable wood pellets. Isa ito sa pinakamalaking power generators sa UK at mayroong 12 cooling towers, isang 259 meter chimney at napakahabang turbine hall. Focus din nila ngayon ang paggamit ng BECCS o Bioenergy with Carbon Capture and Storage Technology para makatulong sa pagbawas ng carbon emissions. Sunod naman ay ang Alholmenscroft Power Station sa Finland. Ang main expansion unit nito ay tinatawag na AK2 ay commissioned noong 2001. May electrical capacity itong 265 megawatts at nakakagawa rin ng 160 megawatts thermal energy. Bukod doon, nagbibigay pa ito ng steam para sa nearby paper mill at district heating para sa mga kabahayan sa Pietar sa Ari. Ang fuel nila ay mostly wood-based biofuel tulad ng barks at logging residues. Kilala rin ito dahil meron itong one of the world's largest circulating fluidized bed boilers. Next ay ang Maasvlakte Power Station Unit 3 sa Rotterdam, Netherlands. Commissioned ito noong 2015 hanggang 2016 at may capacity na around 1,070 to 1,100 megawatts. Gumagamit ito ng hard coal at biomass co-firing system. Mataas ang efficiency, lampas 46%, kaya isa ito sa modern at efficient power plants sa Europe. Ngayon, pinaplano na rin nila ang paggamit ng green hydrogen sa pamamagitan ng project na tinatawag na H2 Maasvlakte. Kasunod naman ay yung Połaniec Biomass Power Plant sa Poland. Nagsimula ito mag-commercial operation noong November 2012. May gross capacity ito na 225 megawatts at net output na 205 megawatts. Ang fuel mix nito ay composed of 80% wood chips at 20% agricultural waste. Gumagamit ito ng advanced circulating fluidized bed boiler technology para maging efficient habang mababa ang emissions. Sa Canada naman ay ang Atikokan Generating Station na convert ito sa biomass at officially reopened noong 2014. May capacity itong 205 megawatts at kilala bilang largest 100% biomass fueled power plant in North America. Gumagamit ito ng wood pellets bilang pangunahing fuel. Hindi hindi ito laging tuloy-tuloy ang operasyon dahil ginagamit ito mostly bilang peaking plant kapag mataas ang demand sa electricity grid. Isa ring advanced facility ay ang Kemijärvi second power plant sa Lahti, Finland. Completed ito noong 2012 at may total capacity na 140 megawatts kung saan 50 megawatts ay electricity at 90 megawatts ay district heat. Ang unique dito ay gumagamit sila ng gasified solid recovered fuel o SRF mula sa waste materials tulad ng plastics, cardboard, paper at wood. Dahil sa technology nila, mas mababa ang emissions compared sa ordinary waste incineration plants. Sa Germany naman ay ang Zolling Power Station, ang biomass cogeneration facility nito ay nagsimula noong 2003 at may 20 megawatts capacity. Gumagamit ito ng wood at residual biomass bilang fuel. Bukod sa paggawa ng electricity, nagbibigay rin ito ng district heating sa Munich Airport at libo-libong households sa paligid. Kahit natigil na ang regular coal operations nila noong 2025, mahalaga pa rin ang role ng site sa grid stability ng Germany. Kasama rin sa listahan ang Mansfield Mill Power Station sa Louisiana, USA. Ang upgraded operations nito ay nagsimula noong 2019. Ang reported capacity nito ay nasa pagitan ng 62 hanggang 172 megawatts. Ang plant na ay mainly ginagamit para suportahan ang industrial operations ng International Paper Company at gumagamit mostly ng natural gas at cogeneration systems. Sa Arkansas naman ay ang Ashdown Biomass Power Plant. Operating na ito since 1991 at may nameplate capacity na 156.5 megawatts. Gumagamit ito ng wood-based at black liquor mula sa pulp production bilang fuel source. Bahagi ito ng isa sa pinakamalalaking fluff pulp production facilities sa mundo. At panghuli ay ang Invicta Biomass Power Plant sa Queensland, Australia. Ang plant ay may capacity na 50.5 megawatts at gumagamit ng bagase o sugarcane waste bilang pangunahing fuel. Bahagi ito ng renewable operations ng Wilmar Sugar Australia. Sa halip na itapon ang sugarcane waste, ginagamit nila para gumawa ng renewable electricity. Kaya malaking tulong ito sa environment. Ngayon naman, pag-usapan natin ang biomass power plants dito sa Philippines at kung paano sila nakakatulong sa renewable energy sector ng bansa. Dahil agricultural country ang Pilipinas, malaki ang potensyal natin sa biomass energy. Unang-una ay ang San Carlos Biopower Plant sa Negros Occidental. Ang planta na ito ay may 20 megawatts capacity at nagsimula itong mag-operate noong 2019. Gumagamit ito ng sugarcane residue o bagase bilang pangunahing fuel source. Malaking tulong ito sa Negros dahil bukod sa paggawa ng kuryente, nakakatulong din ito sa paggamit ng agricultural waste instead na itapon lamang. Sunod naman ay ang Kabankalan Biomass Power Plant na located din sa Negros Occidental. Ito ay may mas malaking capacity na umaabot ng 46 megawatts at active na ito simula pa noong 2015 katulad ng San Carlos Biopower. Gumagamit din ito ng agricultural waste at bagase mula sa sugar industry. Importanteng planta ito dahil malaking bahagi ng ekonomiya ng Negros ay galing sa sugar production. Meron din tayong Isabela Biomass Power Station na may 20 megawatts capacity. Isa ito sa mga operational biomass plants sa bansa at gumagamit ng iba't ibang agricultural biomass materials bilang fuel source. Sa Bataan naman, matatagpuan ang Bataan 2020 Biomass Plant. Ang capacity nito ay 50 megawatts at gumagamit ito ng fluidized bed combustion technology. Ang ganitong technology ay mas efficient at mas controlled. Ang combustion process kaya nakakatulong ito sa pagbawas ng emissions. Kasama rin sa listahan ang Bicol Biomass Energy Corporation na may 5 megawatts capacity. Mas maliit man ang output nito compared sa ibang power plants, mahalaga pa rin ito dahil nagbibigay ito ng renewable electricity sa local communities gamit ang biomass materials. Bukod sa mga operational plants, meron ding mga bagong projects na ginagawa. Isa dito ang Bislig Biomass Power Plant sa Surigao del Sur. Ang project na ito ay gagamit ng wood pellets bilang fuel at inaasahang magsisimula ang construction sa 2025 pa habang target naman ang operation by this year. Meron ding Iloilo Biomass Power Station na may planned capacity na 35 megawatts Ayon sa reports, magsisimula ang construction nito ngayong 2026 bilang bahagi ng pagpapalawak ng renewable energy projects sa Visayas. Sa Quezon naman, merong Polillo Coconut Waste Plant na may 1.5 megawatts capacity. Ang unique dito ay coconut waste ang gagamiting pangunahing fuel source. Magandang example ito kung paano nagagamit ang agricultural waste para maging useful source of electricity. Isa pa sa mga proposed projects ay ang Manila Waste to Energy project na may 100 megawatts target capacity. Ang project na ito ay nakatuon sa paggamit ng municipal waste bilang source of energy habang tinutulungan ding mabawasan ang basura sa Metro Manila. Sa kabuuan, ang biomass power plant ay isang renewable energy system na gumagamit ng agricultural at organic waste tulad ng bagase, wood waste, rice husk at coconut waste para makagawa ng kuryente. Gumagana ito sa pamamagitan ng pagsunog o pag-convert ng biomass fuel upang makalikha ng steam na nagpapaikot sa turbine at generator. May iba't ibang uri ng biomass plants tulad ng direct combustion, gasification, CHP at waste to energy systems. Binubuo ito ng mahahalagang parts gaya ng boiler, turbine, generator, at cooling system para maging maayos ang operation. Isa sa pinakamalaking advantage nito ay nakakatulong ito sa waste reduction, renewable energy production, at pagbaba ng paggamit ng fossil fuels. Nakakagawa rin ito ng trabaho at dagdag kita sa agricultural at energy sectors. Pero may disadvantage din tulad ng mataas na maintenance at pangangailangan ng malaking supply ng biomass fuel.